The following video contains spoilers for the 5th edition adventure Curse of Strahd. Viewer discretion advised. What's up everybody, I am that role-playing Ginger, and I'm doing something a little different today. This is the first time I'm ever doing this, so bear with me because this is exciting. I am going to be doing an unboxing of 2 of WizKids Dungeons & Dragons boxes of minis. I haven't used the camera in a while, so I'm going to have to fiddle around in the future, get this cable out of there. Gonna have to fiddle around in the future to try and figure out the best positioning and everything for this. But yeah, let's get right into this. I have 2 of them today. They are 2 that I was looking forward to because I'm hopefully going to be running this game here in the near future. It's one of my favorite games that I've run in the 5th edition. So we are just going to jump right in. This is the first one, Dungeons & Dragons Icons of the Realm, Curse of Strahd's Denizens of Castle Ravenloft. This is my very first, this and the second box that I got, are my very first ever pre-painted miniatures that I've ever bought. Every mini that I own right now, which is way too many, and especially way too many unpainted ones, is one that I bought either on Etsy or bought at the local game store and then painted myself to keep practicing and getting better at it. But these ones I specifically wanted because I love Curse of Strahd. It's so much fun and I can't wait to be running it. And if I can run it in person, I want to have these for it because these will make it just that much more atmospheric and everything. So yeah, we're going to jump right in. Let's look at this box. The box front cover basically has the display of all of them. Now, there's 7 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 in here. And then on the side we get some. This is Emil, who is, spoiler alert, for any Curse of Strahd. I might put a little pre-thing before this. This is Emil Toranescu, which is, he is a vampire, not a vampire, he's a werewolf that used to be the leader of the pack of werewolves up by, is it Kresk, where the werewolf packs are? I think it's by Kresk. And he was betrayed by the current leader, and he now resides in the prisons beneath Castle Ravenloft. On the other side, we have Gertruda, who when you first get into Barovia, you're going to go to the town of Barovia, and there's going to be a girl, I think her name is Mad Mary, and she's completely she's lost all sense of reality and everything ever since Strahd came, and I think he came and abducted Gertruda. Either he abducted Gertruda, or Gertruda, who was a very sheltered girl because her mom didn't want her at all outside during, living in Barovia. She actually either left her mom and ran away and went to Castle Ravenloft, and she's there basically as a potential bride to the Count. And she wants to be the bride to the Count. Whether or not that's because of her naivete, or if it's because she was hypnotized or whatnot by Strahd, which he is more than willing to do. Strahd is one of my favorite villains because there's no redeeming value of him in any way. I know some people will play him as tragic, which there is tragedy in his life, but it does not in any way justify any of his horrific actions. And she is a victim of that. And in the game that I ran last time for it, the players actually managed to convince her to come with them, and they brought her back to Mad Mary, and I had it to where that reuniting with her daughter helped bring Mad Mary back to her senses, kind of thing. And that was a really fun little experience. The back of it, however, shows the real meat of this one. This is the vampire consorts of Strahd. I can't remember if Rahadin has been made into a vampire, but Rahadin is a dusk elf that basically betrayed his people to become the right hand of Strahd. We have Strahd's 3 female brides, and then we have Escher, who, if I remember correctly, is Strahd's basically male bride. Strahd is very, very, very much, I don't care who it is, as long as this person worships, adores me, and is fun for me to have around. Sorry if you hear the dogs barking, they're probably excited. But yeah, these are all people that Strahd basically keeps around because they entertain him, and when he's bored with them, he basically locks them in tombs beneath his castle in the event that he ever wants to come back. Just another reason why Strahd is an awful, awful individual. I'm going to be very careful with my little handy-dandy knife, and I'm going to open the back of this, and then we are going to actually check on all of these. I'm going to keep the boxes intact because I feel like these are a good place to store these minis when I'm not using them. It'll keep the dust off the minis. And plus it's I like the designs of the boxes. The boxes are made to basically showcase the miniatures. How I get them out, however, is beyond me. Alright, I'm starting to feel like WizKids is not wanting you to be able to just reuse the boxes as display cases, given how nightmarish it was to get these things out of this. These little things were like, you can't really get this thing out without almost destroying the packaging even more, and then you had to like get a finger under there and pop them out, which pretty much ruins them, it seems, so I'll see what I can do later, but we're going to go ahead and go through these. So we got the box here. We're going to go with our first one, Emil. I'm going to have his little picture right there. And the Emil Mini is actually really cool, although his eyes seem a little... There's a... Let's see if I can get the focus going on this. His eyes seem a little odd. There's a running joke, it seems, where... there we go. Where the eyes are, like, super goofy, and this Mini isn't bad, but it also isn't the best when it comes to eyes. I know it's going to be a little tricky. There we go. So yeah, he does look, the rest of him looks really good. Like, he looks haggard, he's got the torn shirts and everything. He looks like someone who has been basically imprisoned for a long time. And at the bottom you have his name, Emil Toranescu, 2 out of 7. So yeah, I'm liking this one. Next up, we are going to go straight to... Flip the box around. I know the background's a little blurred, but that's because I'm not doing autofocus because the camera has the habit of like just freaking out. And I know what the base standard for my particular camera is, so... But this seems to be working fine. This is Gertruda, and again, her eyes are actually way better than Emil's was. Her dress looks dirty, which I think is part of the idea, is that she... Like, nothing in Barovia is actually clean. It's very, very Corpse Bride, the Living World kind of vibes, where everything's got a slight, like, dustiness to it, because it's an old place. There seems to be, I don't know if this is intentional, it doesn't look like it, so I might have to clean this up. There seems to be a bit of plastic right on her neck. I don't know if you guys can see that in the video, but it looks like either there's part that was supposed to come off, and it didn't, or it looks like because they painted underneath it too. So I'm feeling like something's there that's not supposed to be, but I can get that with an X-Acto knife later. Yeah, this is the Gertruda. And I like her dress. Her dress is very cool. I love the style of it. I love the really, really like layered ripples of a... I can't remember the exact name of it. I used to be in theater costuming, and so I knew all the terminology for like making dresses and corsets and everything like that. But I can't remember it to save my life. Drapes or something like that. But yeah, that's her. And then we're going to move on to the vampires. The first one we're going to go just left to right because we're going to save the big boy for last. First up, we have Escher, who is... I think he's the male vampire consort of Strahd, and he looks really cool. He doesn't really have much going on with his eyes, but I think that you don't need that. There is a bit of you can even tell it's not on this, but there's a paint detail right there. There's a mess up, so I don't know if it's paint. It looks like it might be paint. It could be Sharpie or something, but little bit of a hiccup there. I might go through and clean that up later myself if I can get the right coloration down for this. But no, he's looking really good. I love having the one arm covered by the cloak kind of deal, and he's holding up his hands like very posh. Very much digging it. Next up, we're going to go to Anastasia Karolova? Anastasia Karolova. And she is the red vampire bride, and she's got the very like sinister, she's coming at you, coming to get you kind of thing. Not saying really any paint details on here that are messed up. However, her face is a little odd. Her face is a little odd. You can kind of see it there, but almost cartoonish. The eye is not centered on her left side of her face, so the right side facing her. Her eye is not really it's too close to the other eye. But apart from that, I'm liking the details of the dress. I like the fact that she looks menacing, like she's coming after somebody, because if you encounter these girls, they're gonna come after you. You got her name underneath. I like the font they used for that too. That's pretty cool. And I like that I've seen some of they might have just been earlier. I've seen some using black bases. I love the clear bases for these kind of things because it helps them blend into the environment of the map if you're using a grid map, which if you're using minis, you might be using grid maps. They go hand in hand with each other. She looks really cool. Next up is Ludmila Vilisevic, and she is the white-gowned vampire bride, and she actually looks really cool. She has gold on her wrists. She's wearing a gold choker, it looks like. She's got gold right above her hairline. She looks like she's not so much threatening as much as she is like about to sing an opera, or like she's trying to like, come at me, kind of like vibes. Her corset has some really cool little details. It's the same color as the dress, so it's a little hard to see, but let's see if I can get it there. You can see her corset, and it's got like some little swirls and spirals and everything, and I think that's a really cool little touch that, honestly, with minis, you don't need too much detail to get the point across, but it's nice to have them, especially if you're someone who paints minis and you really, really get in there and notice all these little details. So that's really cool. Her face is also really good. Her eyes are like evenly spaced apart. Her mouth is like kind of snarling, which it isn't in her picture in the book, so it's cool that they gave her that, because again, if you find these girls, they're likely going to attack you. Either attack you or try to entice you and then attack you. But no, she's really cool. There's a bit of a splotch on the back of her hair that I'm kind of looking at right now, so that's unfortunate, but it's nothing too bad, and the rest of her hair is a nice glossy black, so that's really cool. And now for the last of Strahd's brides is Valenta Popovsky. She is really... I liked her in the book because she has like a skull mask that she's wearing. You can kind of see it right there in the background. But she has a skull mask that she's wearing, and it's kind of here. You can definitely see the skull mask in the painting, but you can also see it in the camera too, right where her hairline is. Like, oh, I should have brought like something to point with. I'll do that in my next one of these. But there's a part where the silver, because they did silver for her mask, which it's supposed to be like kind of a bone white, so it's odd that they would go with silver. But it does go with like the silver she's got on her shoulders and the silver she's wearing on her dress and on her hands. But it got the silver on her mask and the kind of like tan color of her face got painted onto the lip of her hair. Which you can kind of see right there. There's a line of it right there. It's actually silver on top, and it's the same color as her face underneath, and it's basically like it got the paint got a little way away from the painter. There's also a tiny bit on her hair where her bangs are supposed to be, but that honestly isn't much of a problem because it kind of just makes her hair look more like it's uneven, or the bangs are like done in more stylistic fashion. But no, the back, there's some splotches on the back, but it's nothing crazy. I mean, these are vampire brides who have been with Strahd for probably 100 or so plus years. It's okay if they're not, like, pristine. It actually kind of adds to the whole feel. Her dress is really cool design. The paint isn't very varied, to be honest, but it's okay. It's supposed to be a golden kind of thing, and I have paints that I might try and just touch up over this with, they're like a glittery gold, just to kind of give it that more like elegant kind of like shine to it. And then of course she has some horns that she's wearing. I think they might be part of her mask, and they are painted gold as well. You can see those poking out of the top. But no, I like this one a lot, the face mask, and you can tell very detailed on the mouth coming out of the mask that she's snarling. It's just the tiny details there that make me not think this is a perfect painting, but no, I'm still happy with this one. And last but certainly not least for this particular box, we have the man himself, Rahadin, a dusk elf who's betrayed his people for power and positioning amongst Strahd. This is an amazing miniature for a character that especially in the last one I ran, was very recurring. He popped up all the time. It was always a like moment where the players are like, this bastard, and it felt so great to basically have them realize, oh, it's Rahadin. He's back and he's causing more problems for us. His face isn't too highly detailed. It looks kind of like clayish, like almost like a wax figure. But the eyes, and you can see they got a little bit of a swoop on his brow. It might be hard to see on the video because it is paper thin, or like hairline thin. But he has a little like uplift on his brow, very Klingon like. Or not Klingon, like, what is Spock? Spock's a Vulcan. Vulcan, like, almost dropped him. The only thing I have to say about this is his sword is very frail. This is a very flimsy, very frail sword. I might try and find a way to coat it in something that might give it a little bit more stability, because it feels like this can fall off in a heartbeat. It's a really cool looking sword, though, really nice scimitar, but it is bent a little bit because of how frail it is, and I would like to be able to straighten it out and take care of that. But I'm still learning about all this. I've only been painting miniatures for about half a year now or so, and so I'm still not I'm not an expert at this. I'm just showcasing this really cool set of minis that I got. And that's it for the first one. Now we're moving on to the second one, which this one I'm very excited about. This is D&D's WizKids Icon of the Realms, Curse of Strahd, Legends of Barovia. This is the one that cost me some big bucks. Because again, I've only been able to find these on eBay, really. This is the big characters of Curse of Strahd. And you can see on the side, we have 4 of them. I believe his name is Belview, but he's not a major character. But he is one that pops up in Castle Ravenloft, and he could very well help the players, but is one of those characters you never quite want to trust. We have on the back the Legends of Strahd. It says, within the Valley of Barovia, there are many stories to be told. Local legends say that the Count Strahd von Zarovich has ruled over this valley for generations, and that his land plays host to many powerful beings. Some serve him willingly, and others plot his downfall. Within this box, you will find some of the valley's most terrifying foes, as well as some of its legendary heroes. Excite your players with this collection of 7 highly detailed miniatures, and start building your own legendary story today. And then on the side, we have the other 3. I again want to be very careful with this, especially this one, because look at that background. It's so cool. I love the like snowy mountains leading to the forest kind of vibe, and I don't want to ruin this box. This would be a great place to display these when I'm not playing the game. Alright, it looks like I got those all taken care of. I'm going to have this one like this, because there's not really much of a good image of all the miniatures and everything on here. They don't have the character faces like the other box did, which I enjoyed. So I'm going to have this sitting up right here. I'm going to adjust the focus so we can get a nice look at these miniatures. Alright, and the first one we're going to go up and do, let's see do this on the sides. Alright, yeah, we can do that. We're going to go with Van Richten. Van Richten is a vampire slayer who has notoriously hunted vampires ever since a vampire turned his son into a vampire, but he is in disguise in Barovia. He's a legendary vampire hunter, and he's here after Strahd. He's in disguise as a bard named Rictavio. And so he's basically the Van Helsing of he's one half of a pair that make up basically the Van Helsing of Curse of Strahd. And he's got, I believe, a silver cane sword, which is amazing. He's got a big old tome, which might be the Tome of Strahd. There's not really much of a way to check or signify it or like notice it. His jacket is amazingly detailed, especially in the light. You can see all the little grooves and belts and everything. His leather jacket is so cool on this miniature, and I am very happy about that. He's wearing his signature glasses that are kind of gogglish. He's got a little bit of dark brown hair going on, and you can see there's a splotch right there on the top of his hair where the paint might have got a little away from the painter. But that's okay, that's something I can either touch up, or it just adds to his like dirtiness, because he is disguised as basically a less than stellar bard hanging out. He's holding a tome, which you don't get to see any details of the tome, but it is a nicely detailed one. His pants are nice and clean, or not clean, they're dirty, but he's got underneath, you can see a vest he's wearing underneath. That's a different shade than the cloak, or not cloak, coat he's wearing. His boots are also the same exact like brown shimmer of the coat, so that's really cool. And then of course he has his weapon, which I believe is a silver cane sword, which is a little more sturdy than Rahadin's scimitar. Still not as sturdy as I would like, because it's something I have to be careful with, especially for these. If these fall off, there's a good chance I might never find them. But you see there's really cool little like silver dragon detail on the top of the cane sword. It's not super detailed, but it's enough to where you can tell that it's either that or like a crow's head or something. And that's a really, really cool. I'm very happy with this particular one. Next up, we have Pidlwick II. Pidlwick II is an NPC living in Strahd's castle of Ravenloft. Apparently a long time ago, back before all the bad stuff happened, Strahd's family, or his brother, brought a bard, or his mom's, no. Somebody brought a bard into his house named Pidlwick, and it was everyone loved it. And then somebody decided to make a doll version of Pidlwick, and the doll basically grew a conscience. and knew that it would never amount to the same level of fame as the actual Pidlwick, so this doll pushed the original bard down a very, very long staircase. Anybody who's drawn out the maps for Castle Ravenloft knows exactly what staircase I'm referring to when I say that it is an ungodly number of stairs. But no, this is Pidlwick II, a tiny little construct who really gets his kicks by killing and causing all sorts of tragedies. Very Chucky-like, and I've always liked it. My players, when I was there, they didn't give this guy a second. They didn't let the DM have some fun with this. They basically immediately like, evil doll, kill it, and they started attacking it. So they were able to get rid of this guy real quick before I was able to actually use him to cause some like pranks and everything going on for them. The details on this guy again, just like the Rictavio, or not the Rictavio. Oh yeah, Rictavio. Just like the Rictavio one, are amazing. I think they must have put way more effort into these ones than they did the other one, especially because these are using more shimmering paints. His face is like a glowing silver. He's got gold on his hat, and his gold where you can see where his construct parts are. He's holding a little you can barely see it, but he's holding a little like stick that's got the spirals going down, kind of like a barbershop sign kind of thing back in the day. I don't exactly know what it's for. It's probably some toy from a long time ago, but he's holding that. It might even be a wand. I can't remember exactly because I didn't get to use this guy that much. I love the stripes going on with his clothes. His boots are the same kind of like shimmery brown that Rictavio's was. And yeah, I'm very happy with this figure. Next up, we're going with a character that we don't really get to see too much in Curse of Strahd, so I'm surprised they brought her instead of Madame Eva. This is Baba Lysaga. Baba Lysaga is the Dungeons & Dragons version of Baba Yaga, which is I believe, Romanian. No, not Romanian. It's one of the Eastern European old faiths. It's basically the Mother Witch, and she typically lives in a hut that has chicken feet and walks around and everything. But no, this is Baba Lysaga. She is the D&D version of that. She is standing on a pile of skulls, if you can see that, which should give an indication to how powerful and intimidating she might be. Her cloak is so well detailed. You can see it a lot in the light that I have going on here. You can see just how many swirls and spirals and everything they put into this, and that is a fantastic level of detail. They took real good care with this thing, and I'm super happy about that. Her hands are also very, very finely painted to look really long and kind of dirty and gnarly, so that's really cool. Her face isn't too detailed, but it honestly isn't in the book either. It's kind of like she has a face to where you know that she's kind of like a crone and that kind of stuff, but nothing like too descriptive on her face. Her hairstyle is very... I've always like wondered what they base the hairstyle on. It's a kind of like almost a beehive with a long flow behind it, but other than that, this is a really nice figure, and I never got to use her in the game. I felt bad about that because my players never had a reason to go searching for her creeping hut. The cards didn't play out for that, so I never got to use her. Otherwise, I was going to have some real fun with her. So hopefully in whatever future campaign I do with it, I might be able to actually get to use Baba Lysaga. Next up, we have what is just called Mongrelfolk on the bottom, which, I mean, there's so many in the game. You would imagine they'd give this guy a name. I believe his last name is Belview, if I'm remembering this correctly. And maybe Simon Belview? No, I don't know about that. But he is basically the quote-unquote caretaker of Castle Ravenloft. He's wandering the halls. Very much like... I can't remember the name or the character. But there's a character, basically, he wanders the halls with a lantern. And at first he seems like he's going to guide players, but he serves Strahd. He likes having his own fun and everything, but the way I played him at least, he's not going to go against Strahd. He knows that it's futile. His lantern is really cool. I love it. And the light especially is playing nice tricks on it from this video. You can see it is see-through. You can see through the glass panels of his lantern, but it's also kind of painted a little bit, so you can think there's a very faint light inside of it. His face isn't the most detailed again, but you can see he has a little snaggletooth, and this is very much in line with his image in the book. This is really good. He's got a little box on him and some stuff hanging out on his back. I don't exactly know what it all is. He's got some fur that isn't too well detailed, but I can tell it's fur, so that's usually enough when it comes to these minis. He's got himself a bird foot, it looks like. And yeah, the Mongrelfolk play a integral part at the Abbey of St. Markovia in Curse of Strahd. They are all, it's a whole family thing, and if you ever play Curse of Strahd, I highly urge anybody who's running it to at least have your players visit the Abbey, even if the cards don't demand it. The Abbey is a big, amazingly, fun side thing to the Curse of Strahd's main story. Highly recommend that. And then this could be used over there if I need to, but I need to get some more Mongrelfolk because there are a lot at that Abbey. So yeah, I'll have to get more of these and just mainly keep this guy as the one who runs Ravenloft. Next up, we have someone I'm very excited for. This is Ezmerelda D'Avenir. She is the apprentice vampire slayer to Rictavio. Well, I keep calling him Rictavio. His name's not Rictavio. His name is Rudolph Van Richten. She is basically his apprentice. She is one of the Vistani, actually, so I can't remember exactly how, but I think in a werewolf fight, she lost a leg. And so you can see, it's actually a little tricky to tell. You'd think they would have used the same gold they had on Pidlwick's bells and everything on her leg. I think it's her right leg is the one that got bitten off by or she got bit by a werewolf at the leg and cut it off so it wouldn't turn her into a werewolf. Something along those lines. She is an awesome, awesome character, and the last time I ran the game, she actually ended up being, the cards demanded that she was the NPC that was going to be the one that helps them kill Strahd. And I loved that, because the moment they got with her, they were like, yeah, we're keeping her with us because she is amazing. Her stats are really good, and even if she isn't the one who's destined to be with them and kill Strahd, she is a very valuable ally. She does have an axe, which is a little, scary flimsy on the handle part, but it's very nicely detailed. She also has this really, really cool rapier, which is also kind of flimsy, not as flimsy as the axe's handle, but it's also bent, but it looks really good. I love the style of it. I love the little, hand guard that she can, hook people with. No, she's got really cool detail on her boots. She's very pirate-like. She looks like she'd fit very well in a pirate game set in Pathfinder's Galarian, because the pirates, they're all dressed kind of like this. She's got some detail along the mid part of her cloak, which you can see is very nice. And yeah, she's got bracers where her puffy shirts and everything fit into. She's very pirate-like, and I love her. Next up, I completely forgot she was actually in here. Her name's a little faded, though, is Madame Ava, the one who reads the cards, and she's actually holding up her cards right there. She seems very much like she fits as just any typical old person holding up cards or whatnot. Her details aren't too crazy, but that's because she's just an older lady who reads the cards. She doesn't really do too much else. She's got a little bit of black on her hand from the black from inside of her cloak there. Her face isn't the best detailed, but it's still not bad. That's still probably better than I can do on that small of a scale. I do love that she's holding up the Taroka deck. The Taroka deck is the deck of cards that helps decide, by random chance, if you wish it, how Curse of Strahd is going to be played, or where the characters are going to need to go to find the things that is going to let them take Strahd down. So no, she's really cool. There's not too much detail about her, but I think this is a very fitting one, because honestly, at least in my runnings of the game, you don't hang out with her too much. You basically find her, you get the reading, and you move on. She doesn't play much more of an integral part than that. She can, obviously, but in the games I've played, she hasn't. The characters have basically met her and moved on. And lastly for this video, but absolutely in no way the least, we have the Count himself, Strahd von Zarovich. This is the big boy. This is the one where we go. This is the one we pay to see. This is the one who will pop up every so often just to remind you that you are nothing in his world other than a plaything. This miniature is very detailed. This miniature is very sturdy, and I'm okay with that. I like having a sturdy main miniature. He's holding a glass of blood, which the glass detail on that is very nice. It's just like the lantern, you can kind of see through it, but it's also got some on there. The red inside's very cool, although they did get some on his finger. But I don't think he cares. I think that's something he'll just lick off. Or have one of the brides, or Ajmir, or what was his name? One of them lick it off for him, if he doesn't hiss at them first. He is holding a sword that is very cool, detailed hilt and everything. It's got all the bands and all that going along it. The front of his cloak looks like it has a silver brooch that is holding a wolf's pelt onto it. I would have liked his cloak to be a little darker, but I can do that myself if I feel it really needs it. And there's a little bit of purple on the hair, or on the hair, but it's not too much to be an issue. He has... Oh, I didn't notice that. It's going to be weird, but his codpiece has shimmering purple or blue. I am colorblind, so forgive me if I'm saying that wrong, but he does have a nice little like shimmer on the codpiece that really complements the cloak. And yeah, this is the big boy. This is the one where if I pull this miniature out, it's time to rumble, and there's likely no chance the players are going to come out on top. But that's the whole thing about Strahd in the game, is he's not going to be one who just comes in and kills them all. He's going to come in like a cat, and there are a bunch of mice. He's going to smack them around, play with them a little bit, then he's going to get bored and go home and wait for the next time he wants to show them how powerful he is. That's how Strahd is, and the arrogance in this figure is really astonishing. I'm trying to see, looks like there might be a bit of a print issue. I don't know if it's an issue really, or if it's just because of the tiny detail, but there is something along the line where where his ear is, where it's a little, it looks like the resin or whatever it was might have like left a string there. I can take care of that with my X-Acto knife though. No, his face is nicely detailed. There's not too much going on with his eyes like a mirror where it was very obvious, like the eyes, or not a mirror, there was one of the minis where the eyes were a little too close. Nothing like that going on with here, but I figure they would probably put way more attention to detail in Strahd, given that he's the namesake of the game. But no, I am very happy with this one, and I don't think I will need to get one of those other ones. I might, just because I want more vampires, because I love vampires. I actually just went and bought 2 packs of Nosferatus that I can use basically as just like vampire minions here and there. So I'm gonna have to paint those up. But yeah, this has been pretty fun. I've never done an unboxing video like this. Let me put this back to normal. Never done an unboxing video along the lines like this. It's a new thing for me. So we have the Curse of Strahd, 2 boxes, Legends of Barovia, and Denizens of Castle Ravenloft sets. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking I have a lot more minis. I can always do ones where I showcase the ones that I've painted, showcase new ones that I'm buying, showcase the amiibos I've been collecting for the Legend of Zelda playthroughs. But yeah, this is really fun, and I might be doing more of these in the future. So let me know down there if you guys want me to, and yeah, I'll see you all then. Thank you guys, and peace out!